All right, let's see what we can do here. Just getting all my gear set up. Oh my gosh, I have someone watching. What a crazy moment. Hello. So I am just setting up to record a video for my students to use as a lesson. You left. That's good. Okay, hello and welcome to another Create with Kiely art tutorial video. In this art challenge, we are going to be working with acrylic paints, but only white and ochre. And we're going to be painting a skull. The challenge looks something like this. So you're going to find a visual reference of a skull to use to help you, just get the proportions right and all that jazz. But it's not necessarily about getting a perfect painting. It's the challenge focuses more on limiting yourself to white, which is 0 on the grayscale, and ochre, which, you could argue that is about a 5, like right in the middle of the grayscale. And I'm setting up my drawing space to be 6 by 6.5 inches. So I'm measuring 2 inches off the top of my sketchbook page and 1 inch in. And that's going to give me, fingers crossed, a straight line. So I can get my side done. One side, this is going to be 6.5, and this is going to be 6 across the top. If we measure down by 6.5, 6.5. This is 6 across. And this should be 6.5. There we go. Now, to make our paintings look nice and real fancy in our sketchbooks, we're going to tape off. We're going to mask off the borders. So take your tape, your masking tape, de-stick it by kind of pressing it on your clothes a couple times. Pick up the lint of your clothing, and it will reduce the chance, the likelihood of you tearing your paper when you remove it. There we go. Boom and boom. And I am moving quickly because there's never enough time, but also I want this lesson to fit within a 90-minute period. If I'm going too fast, the nice thing about recorded videos is that you can pause me anytime you like. So you have control of the pacing. And if I'm not going fast enough for you, well, move the play speed up to whatever you like. Okay, so here's our canvas, our space that we're going to be working in. And we are going to draw a skull. So hopefully your teacher at some point in your learning career has talked about proportions. We've got the center, that halfway down. We're just going to do the top jaw, the top mandible of it all. I'm also going to go get my classroom skeleton to help me out here. There we go. Right now, I'm just bringing up an image of a skull. I'm specifically looking for one with a black background and just the upper part. We don't need to do the lower part. Really, it doesn't matter too much what you paint, what the subject matter is, but like anything you draw, you break it down to its basic geometric shapes, comparing and contrasting one part to its other parts so that you can get the correct proportions. So I have sketched the skull in pencil really lightly. And I've kind of indicated a couple big shadows that I see in the, I guess those are sinus cavities under the cheekbones. And then there's these ridges, the eyebrow ridges that are quite noticeable. Okay, so it's not about getting a photographically perfect image of a skull because in this class, we just don't have the time. So I am going to pour some white paint onto my palette, which is like a Philadelphia cream lid. And here's my ochre. It's like a dark yellow. It's not a lemon yellow. It's not your bright primary color yellow. And you need a little bit more ochre than you do white. Grab your paintbrush. And away we go. All right. So psychologically, it's really, really good to start off with the background. And since the background in my visual reference is black, my ochre is now my black. It's the darkest thing I have available to me. So everything in my visual reference that I see as black is going to be this solid ochre color. And you will find that if you cover your backgrounds first, my paintbrushes are flaky today. You will find that you will have this greater sense of having accomplished something. Paint off of the tape onto the paper, and you will reduce, not guaranteed, but you will reduce the likelihood of getting the paint under the tape. Maybe you over de-stuck it a bit. Okay, la la. This is a common exercise for artists to do. You know, it's a really good learning challenge. And I really do mean the word challenge because a lot of people, beginner artists, don't like the confinement. They want the drama of the black paint. They want that full range of value. Makes you appreciate it more when you don't have it, right? I'm laying the paint on nice and thick so that it's covering the paper. The paper has a little bit of an absorbent quality to it. So I've got to take that into consideration as to how much I load my brush with. There we go. Not too shabby. There. So there's black. That's my darkest value. Next in my visual reference, the eye sockets are black in that true dark, 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 level 10 on the grayscale kind of looking thing. So I'm going to try to get that shape. Nice hard edges here. Control that paintbrush. Get your fine motor skill control under control. There we go. And in the nasal cavity. Boom. Boom. There we go. And a little bit, I'm just going to mark these out. They're going to be blended. They're not a solid black shape. They're just going to be blended in a little bit, but they start off as very dark. So I'm going to put those in and back. Woohoo, let's not get our hand in the paint. Back here, I also see some level 10 values. If you don't understand what I mean by level 10 values and 5 and 1 and all this, you need to review what a grayscale is. And there is another video on my channel that covers what is a grayscale. I believe it's in my graphite pencil playlist. Okay, so I've got the main dark areas. I've just got that extreme, right? So I'm going to take another paintbrush, one that has had no ochre put on it, and I'm going to go into the white. So I'm just going to paint with just the white, and I'm looking for the highlights, the absolute lightest spots on my visual reference on the skull that I see. And I can see one over here. And if you don't do this, if you just jump into blending, you skip this stage, then there is a chance, I'm not going to say it's going to definitely happen, but there's a chance you will not have a perfectly clean white. And if you don't have that high value, you're really limiting yourself, right? You're shrinking your scale down. If we're only stuck with 0 to 5 on the grayscale and you have a dirty white, then you might be working from 1 to 5 or worse, 2 to 5. And that will tie you up even worse than just what we're already struggling with here. So I'm blocking in my absolute whites. Not as much on this side of the skull because the light source is coming from right here. It's hitting the skull up here. There we go. Yeah, that's kind of it. There's a little on the tooth cavity here. So great. Now we're going to use this as like a slider bar. Okay, so here's my one extreme and here's my other extreme. So we should have a 50-50 right in the middle, right? Now we can go this way to get lighter. We can go this way to get darker. Where's my 50-50s? Here we go. So let me just hop right in here. Now, acrylic dries really fast. So I tend to paint quickly because I like to work with it while it's wet. So I can mix it a little bit on the canvas or paper in this matter. It's more forgiving when it's wet. And if I don't get quite the right value, I can mix it in there and have a nicer gradient than if I'd waited for it to dry and tried to come back and cover it up. It's more of a pain in the butt to do it that way. Excuse my strong language. Okay, all of this side is really high in value. Come on. Here, do blending. Nice. It's really dark on here, like I said before. Okay, there's more anatomy under there, but really, kids, right now what we're concerned about is getting, the gist of it, of getting control of the values. Our classes are only so long. We only have so much time to accomplish things. We have to really pick and choose exactly what are we going to improve on. Today, it's not about proportion. It's not about observational drawings. It's about achieving that full range of value. That's the only thing you need to stress about. Yeah, it should look something like a skull. There should be some gradients and things like that, of course. You're all good enough to be able to achieve that much. I believe in you. The ridge in the nose here, it's quite light. It's really dark over here. Everything needs sound effects. Okay. There's a lot of texture here. So I'm going to put like a medium between the very medium and light already. medium value here, and then I can add the dark and the light. So I get the base, I just get the first layer done because it's a little bit more challenging. It's not as blocky. There's little details. So I'm just going to get that first layer down. I'm not going to put pressure on my first layer to be perfect. It's just the first layer. This job is just to get some paint, some color on the paper. Now I'm going to go back in with the darker one and just hint at this. This is like where the gums, I guess, would be. Ooh. Around the teeth. And again, I am speed painting, so please don't judge. Oh, flaky paintbrush. Get off my paper. Ah. There too. Okay. Okay. Sometimes you have to go back over. Maybe you lost some highlights. Stop flaking on my paper. I'm trying to do a video. This guy needs some cheek reductions. Just on the side, doesn't look quite right. There we go. No. So the rest of my ochre might as well. Instead of washing it down the sink or in the garbage can. Add in another layer. Maybe make his teeth a little bit more crooked. A little more natural. Yeah. And there you go. There you go. There is a skull study, a study of a skull, but the main challenge is not necessarily proportions, but about controlling your values, being more aware of value, which is extremely important in all forms of art. Getting nice contrasts, finding the highest values, the lowest values, identifying them, and incorporating them into your artwork, whether it be pencil, ink, pastels, what have you, or acrylic paints like today. I hope that you enjoyed this challenge, in the true nature of a challenge. And if you did, please consider liking my video and don't forget to subscribe. Remember, my friends, as always, stay awesome and be creative. Until next time.